kick us off. Perfect. Hello, and welcome everyone to American Family Insurance DreamBank, where we believe in the transformative power of dreams. I'm Madeline, and I'm so excited to have you with us today as we talk about time. Here at American Family Insurance, we believe communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. That's why we created DreamBank, an inspirational community destination and digital experience dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to immersive signature programs, there's something for every dreamer. Our always free offerings are designed to help you celebrate the dream journey, overcome obstacles, and stay motivated. And I am so excited for today's speaker, Jenna Piché, founder of First Light Coaching and Time Leveraging Coach. I'm excited for today, and you can take it away.
Amazing. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Jenna Piché, time leverage coach, recovering workaholic, worked through all of these time issues, still working through them, but I'm here to share with you what I've learned. So ultimately, I want to share the tools, the mindset shifts, the strategies that you need to find yourself on the other side of busy. Because how many of us, when folks ask us, how are you doing? Answer, oh, so busy. Right. So I'd love for you to type in the chat how you answer that question. Maybe you get fine, great when you're hiding something. But when someone asks you, how you doing? How would you answer that? Oh, I love it. I got some better than ever. Usually I get, if I'm being real, overwhelmed. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling chaotic. Fine. Yeah. What is fine? What is really behind fine for some of us, right? Oh, I love the mindset that we have here. Yes, well, you all are here for mindset training. So I feel like you all already have this idea that mindset is extremely important. So today we're going to talk about 3 mindset shifts to reclaim your time. Why mindset? Because it's really at the core of everything that we do. And I have shared for years productivity hacks and calendar control strategies. And while those are all a great step, it's not something that is going to solve our problem of what can get in our way every day. So before I really dive into the shifts we can make today, I've got so much good stuff for you. I first want to start with a story of why am I even on this journey talking to you about time mindset. So February of 2020, we traveled out to Denver. Our first trip after having these 2 kiddos. They were about 6 months and 2.5. And my husband and I would call ourselves workaholics, or certainly did. This was the trip that we took just to get away, to take a little break. Our friends were working that day, so they let us borrow their S10 pickup, and we drove the kids from Boulder into Denver to take them to the aquarium. Had so much fun. The Denver Aquarium is a really cool place. If anyone from Denver is here, you can give me a shout out in the chat. Uh, Kids loved it. And as we are piling them back in the car, trying to get folks back for nap, trying to get back for lunch, whatever all the things were, got everybody in, start heading in the pickup back to Boulder from Denver. And we're driving down the highway, probably talking about all the things that we needed to get done, right? Rush back to get the kids to do this, to that. Oh, I really shouldn't have taken this week off work because I have 50 million things to do. I hope I can get this done while they're sleeping during nap time. When we feel the tires of the truck pick up off the highway, we hit black ice. When the truck starts turning toward the cement median, and we're going on the interstate, you know, 65, 70, when the world just slows down. And we thought that that was going to be it, little family. Now, we're from Wisconsin. So by some miracle, my husband pulls the truck back on the highway going straight after what feels like forever. And I'm just like, nothing happened. These near misses where then you look at each other and we just stared at each other with this knowing look of dread. Like, wow, that was almost it. When we look in the back seat, the kids are sound asleep, of course, right? But I look at my 2.5-year-old and I didn't buckle him in. And I lost it. How could I have been so distracted that one of the most important things in the world to me, I didn't protect? And I just reeled over the next several weeks. What am I really doing here? Where are my priorities? Now, I don't want you to think I was overreacting. I know parents sometimes do these things or we forget, but guys, this was my world. And if something would have happened, I never would have forgiven myself. So I really started asking all of these questions of why am I not paying attention to what truly matters? And am I aligning my time with my priorities? We were working 7 to 7, having two young kids, trying to do all the things, getting back online after the kids went to bed to try to catch up, get ahead. And then the next day we felt like we started still feeling behind. Can anyone relate to that? Like when you're at work, you're feeling guilty that you're not doing the things you know you need to be doing outside of work in life with your family, with your parents. Maybe you have aging parents, but also when you're at home with the people who truly matter, you feel like you can't focus because you're thinking about all the other things that you need to get done, right? There's just not enough hours in the day. There's not enough time to do all the things we want to do. And what I recognized in this after really diving in and rewiring and trying to understand why was I doing it this way? And there had to be a better way. Was that I was buying into this idea of the hustle fallacy. And maybe you are too. It's that idea that if I push hard, if I work those long hours, if I am just busy all the time, I'm hard to get it done, right? Because being busy equals being productive. Elon Musk is famous for saying, if I work 80 hours a week and you work 40, I'm bound to get there twice as fast. But if any of you have ever worked 80 hours in a week, you know that that's not sustainable. You can't continue at that pace forever. So we either buy into this and we keep running, thinking, oh, it's just temporary. We burn ourselves out, or our relationships suffer, our health suffers. Maybe we say this isn't sustainable. And then we hit something called the ambition break, right? So this is that I'm going to take a step back. I realize that my time isn't aligning with my priorities. So I just need a complete reset. And what I noticed in this, that doesn't feel good either, right? We know we have potential inside of us. We know we have something we want to give to the world. And if we aren't fully standing in that potential, we know that we aren't truly living as the expression we were born to give. So what do we do? Well, my ultimate goal in the work that I do is to help people find the double win. Well, how do we win at work and succeed at life in a sustainable way that makes us excited to get up in the morning? Right? To do the things that truly move us forward, to have an impact and still live a life that we love. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, when I talk about time mastery, I really go over four different aspects. I call these the four quadrants of time mastery. I really feel like that mastering our time is really a microcosm of mastering our life. If we control our calendar, we really have a better control of our life. If we control our habits and systems and our energy so we can show up well, that's all well and good. This is the thing that gets in our way so much. So that's what we're going to dive into today. I believe with this foundation, with these three mindset shifts, you can take so much control by just controlling what happens between your ears. Because ultimately, we know where we are, and you're all here because you want to do things better with your time. You know that you can do it better, or you wouldn't be here trying to optimize it. But we recognize that there's this gap between where we are and where we want to be. And the where we want to be is living the life that we feel we truly deserve, a life of impact, a life of fulfillment in work and in life. So I believe that our mindset is truly the center of how we bridge that gap. There are so many wonderful, wise people who have come back to this idea. But one of my favorites here is from Gandhi, who says, a man is but a product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. Right. Henry Ford is known for saying, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. Paraphrasing. But This is because we create our reality around these five primary drivers. Now, learned this from my mentor, David Bear. I believe it is one of the most transformational ways we can really start thinking about why life is showing up for us in the way that it is. Okay, so with the five primary drivers, it's the idea that our beliefs drive our thoughts drive our feelings are going to drive the actions that we take. Actions are going to drive our results, and then as such, those will reinforce our beliefs. Now, before you're like, oh, are you getting into the woo-woo here? This is neuroscience. This is the psychology behind why humans behave the way that we do. So before I dive into some examples here, though, I would really like you all to think about the story that you are telling yourself around time. Okay, so the foundation that we have behind a lot of our beliefs actually comes from our birth to about 7 years old. So we've got about 250,000 neurosynaptic connections that are happening. We are watching things go. And as we see something happen, we put meaning to that experience. We give it a story. And then the more we see that happen, kind of solidify that highway. And we develop these beliefs. We have beliefs around money, beliefs around relationships, beliefs around love, beliefs around dogs. Your first interaction with a dog, you didn't know what it was. But then you interacted with one. And then after that, your brain knew, oh, that's a dog. And you were able to label it and give meaning to that experience. So I'd like to walk through this with your meaning of time. Okay, so you can type this in the chat if you feel so called. But I'd love for you to fill in the blank. Time is blank. Time is infinite. Time is choice. Time is not enough. Time is finite. Time is valuable. Time is precious. Yeah. Time is fleeting. So interesting. Time is everything. Oh, these are so interesting. Time goes by so fast. Scarce. Wow. The most precious resource. Absolutely. Too short. Okay. So I want you to think with that in mind, with that meaning that you are giving to time. This is our belief around time. So let me give you an example of my belief around time. So I grew up in a household where my mom was switching jobs a lot, but she was a banker when I was at my youngest, and my dad was a self-employed contractor. So in our house, time was not enough. Time was not our own. Time was better spent serving others because that brought money to our family. So I want to walk you through how that helped me develop the beliefs I had around time that I needed to rewire. So my belief was, well, time is not our own because I watched my dad run from place to place to place, work from 7 to 7 to get all these other jobs done to support our family. So if time is not my own, is my belief, then my thoughts are, well, I don't have control over my time. I don't control this. Other people control how I spend my time. My time is not as important. So then my feelings about time are endless. Well, I'm overwhelmed by all the other things, by all the things I need to do for other people because they're controlling my time, right? I feel pressure to get all the things done because they're controlling it, not me. And so you can see if that belief is driving the thought and those feelings, and the actions that I take from that place of pressure, overwhelm, or anxiety, I'm going to be really anxious actions. I'm going to feel like I don't have enough time, so I'm not going to show up well. I'm going to show up late to meetings because I'm trying to fit too much in. I'm going to show up not as my best self because my brain is going to be in 15 other places because other people are asking and demanding of my time. My work quality isn't going to be what I want it to be. I can be able to be present because I'm thinking about someone else who needs me while I'm here doing this thing. I'm going to be scattered. And as such, my results aren't going to be up to my potential. I'm going to likely deliver things that are below my standard. I am going to feel like I don't have enough time. I'm going to be rushing. I'm going to be overcommitting myself. And then you can see how, with that result, it only reinforces the belief that my time is not my own. Not enough. So, a lot of how we think about time comes from the subconscious programming that we got when we were younger. And maybe you got some of this later in life. Maybe your first work experiences drove how you feel about time. Ultimately, this belief of time is likely coming from some experience that you may not have even thought of until today when I asked you that question. So I'd like for you to identify what is that belief for you, because now we're going to work on rewiring it. First step in making sure that the mindset around time isn't controlling you and dictating your results is to know what mindset you have. So up here, I've put some of the more common ones right here. And if you relate to any of these, you can put them in the chat. But I don't have enough time to get everything done. If I delegate, it won't get done right, right? I have to be the one to do it. No one does it as good as I do. I need to say yes to every opportunity to succeed. I have to work long hours to be successful. If I slow down, I'll fall behind. Urgent tasks are always more productive than what I have planned, or rest and downtime are unproductive. I fell prey to this a lot, right? I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's what I used to tell myself. Again, you can see how that comes back to time is not my own. So I'm serving another master, I'm serving others. So if those are the beliefs that are dictating my results, how am I going to feel? Stressed, anxious, overwhelmed, procrastinating. I don't know how many people I've talked to who've said, I procrastinate on the stuff I know is extremely important. Why am I doing it? Well, it's because our beliefs are driving that. So I want you to look at this list. These are all feelings of being in a primal state, right? That feeling of fight or flight in our nervous system. So we were given this beautiful nervous system that helps us navigate life. And its job is to keep us safe. And way back in the day, its job was to help tell us, oh, if there is a saber-toothed tiger chasing you, you should run or fight. But we were never meant to live in that fight or flight as long as we do in common society. So these are the feelings that throw us into that primal state in our nervous system. And then as such, we aren't making the decisions that are in line with how we want to be. So there's primal states and there's powerful states. And we are making our most aligned choices in a powerful state. But I'd love to ask you just to be honest with yourself. How much time are you spending on the average day in a primal state, in indecision, second guessing yourself, feeling like you're not enough, giving into your inner critic, feeling anxious, overwhelmed, procrastinating, worrying, comparing yourself? Yeah. If it's 2 hours a day, that's 700 hours in a year. If it's 8 hours a day, it's 2,800 hours in a year, guys. 90%, 98%, guys. Thanks for being honest. Absolutely. It's way more than we should give it. And here's the problem with that. Its impact runs way beyond the finances of not getting things done at work. It's not being present with your kids or your partner. It's missing special moments because you weren't mentally here or you didn't actually show up physically. It's never achieving your desired result. It's the stress, the disease, the physical suffering, the wasting of our life. All of this is solvable if we just focus on the subconscious and bring that to light. So the tool I'm going to share with you is the new decision matrix. This has really been a game changer for me, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to download that so you can use this, learn it today, and really incorporate this, because the more that we reinforce this, the easier it will be to shift these limiting decisions. Okay, so this first shift, helping you reclaim your mindset around time, whatever story you're telling yourself, is to understand that these beliefs are decisions. And you might say, Jenna, I don't know what you mean, right? All of these things are happening to me. I can't control that. Well, there is the thing that happens to you, and then the meaning that you assign that thing. And that's the belief. So once we shed light on the idea that you have a belief around this decision, time is finite, time is not enough, time is limited, time is non renewable, then we can say, I get to choose how I feel about time. And clearly, the choice that I'm making right now isn't serving me. So the first shift is just acknowledging and giving yourself permission that this belief is a decision. With that, you probably know where I'm going. The second shift you can make is then by choosing to make a new decision. Once we recognize that we are assigning meaning to a certain situation, in particular about our time, then we have this ability to respond. We have this responsibility, and we can make a new decision. So, if nothing else, setting this light on your belief about time and then asking, what is the new decision I want to make? To be more empowering is a huge shift. I'm going to take you through the process of doing that here in a minute. But the third and final piece of why this is so profound is because our beliefs, having us walking around the world like a horse with blinders on. Has anyone seen one of these? If there's some horse people on here, maybe you all can give insight. But from my experience, we put blinders on horses because we don't want them to get distracted. We want them to see a certain part of the world while they are pulling people around to keep them safe. You have something called a reticular activating system. It is the lens through which you see the world. It's the reason why you don't see the car that you want to buy on the road until you buy it. And then you recognize it everywhere. It is telling our brain what to pay attention to. But our beliefs are driving system. And once we have developed these beliefs, the blinders come on. It's a shortcut. It's a way to keep us safe. It's a way to keep us moving in the world. Problem with it is that the blinders only let us see about 12% of reality. So every belief you have is being reinforced by what you see in the world. It's the Facebook algorithm and what you like, you're served more of. The same things happen with your reticular activating system. So with that in mind, knowing you're only seeing 12% of the world, what's in the other 88% that you aren't paying attention to? So we're going to find ways to open yourself to a new decision and find a way to support that decision in the world so you can see more of that belief. So we're going to look for more. We're going to look for support. So here's a QR code. I'm also going to drop this in the chat where you can go download the most common limiting beliefs that I see, the empowering truths you can reprogram with, and this new decision matrix. All right. So if you don't have this downloaded, that's fine. But with our last few minutes, I really want to take you through this exercise so you can implement this and start incorporating it into life. So you just need 3 columns. Jot on a blank sheet of paper, open a document, whatever you need. And in that first column, I want you to write down the limiting belief that you started this call with. Right? Time is finite. Time's non-renewable. Time is our most precious resource, whatever it is. The next thing you're going to write is the new empowering decision that you are going to choose today. Right? Because this belief is a choice, you get to choose the different choice. So, what would be more empowering? What do you want to believe instead of the limiting belief that is holding you back right now? And the biggest question that I get here is, well, what is my more empowering decision? Usually it is the exact opposite of the thing you are currently believing, right? Because we wouldn't call it your limiting belief if it was projecting you toward what you wanted. Right? So, what is the most common, or what is the opposite of that limiting belief? Yeah, and I've put the link here in the chat. So if you're still looking for that download, you can find it here. I'll pull that QR code back up here in a minute. So come up with a more empowering decision. If if my time is not my own, my more empowering decision is my time is within my control. If time is finite, time is limitless, and I get to decide. I had a client last week say, time is choice, but he was overwhelmed by that choice. So he said, I get to decide. And he felt empowered by that language. So write this in the way, oh, thank you guys. I realize that didn't go out to everyone. I appreciate that. No, there's the link. Thanks for keeping me on track. So, what is the opposite of the limiting belief that's holding you back? If you're having trouble coming up with what the opposite is, type it in the chat and we'll help you come up with that. Once you have the opposite, the more empowering decision, the thing that you really want to start believing rather than a limiting belief, then I want you to look at your life and ask, what evidence do I already have that this is true? This is where we're taking off the blinders and we are opening your perspective to the other 88% of the world. So if time is finite and you now want to believe that time is abundant, what supporting evidence do you have? Maybe it's something like, I get to control my Saturdays and Sundays. I've been given 47 years on this earth, and I look forward to having 47 more. It's, I've had the ability to decide and do some really cool things. If time is a blessing, look at all the cool things I've done with my time. I got to go read a book. I got to go sit on a beach. I got to sit with my kids. I got to have a slow cup of coffee. What is the supporting evidence that's going to help reinforce this? And then with that supporting evidence, I want you to keep adding to it. And here's why that is so important. There was a study done by Harvard in 2009. They published it in Time magazine. And what they found was that actually visualizing the thing that we want to happen is 80% as powerful as it actually happening. So they took piano players, the first group, they measured their brain waves, play the piano. This is how their brain lit up. Second group, they said, I just want you to visualize playing the piano, but don't actually do it. Their brains lit up 80% of the way that those actually playing did. So, why is this important? It's important because if you pay attention to what supporting evidence you have, and then you start visualizing this new belief happening, you're going to see more of this happen in your reality. It's like creating a memory of something that hasn't happened yet. So, your homework for today, for shifting your mindset, for reclaiming your time, again, is to first identify the story you're telling yourself about your time. Then choose a more empowering story, sometimes the opposite of that limiting belief that you would rather believe. And then finally, practice finding evidence every single day for why that new story, why that new meaning is true. Okay. All right. So those are the three mindset shifts to help you reclaim your time. I'd love for you to hop in the chat. I want to be really respectful of time. I really want to dive into the science behind why this is so important and why this works. But please type those questions in the chat. I am here. I have space to stay and answer them. Otherwise, I want you all to know in case you have to hop off, because we only said we were going to take a half hour of your time today, that if you work this system, these three simple steps, this new decision matrix, I promise if you do this daily, every day for even the next week, you can start paying attention to different things and you're going to start showing up differently, more calm, with more clarity, feeling more centered and at peace with how you're spending your time. If you need personal help, I invite you to dig deeper with me. You can scan this and spend some time together. I would love to dive into this with you. I love doing this training for teams, so you can talk to me about that here. But with that, if you have to jump, please know that we love you here. We're rooting for you. And I can't wait to see all the cool shifts you get when you reprogram how you think about your time.
Perfect. Thank you everyone for joining us. Like Jenna said, we have a few extra moments to stay on the call. If you want to have those questions answered, ooh, I need another cup of coffee. But thank you everyone for joining. This event will be up in on our YouTube by early next week. And please check out our website if you for upcoming events. Thank you all for tuning in. I did see one question pop up, and so I'm just going to call that out. Can you explain how we use this decision to create more time? Does the more control help more to be accomplished?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question here, Sherry. So, how does this decision help you create more time? So, if you feel like you don't have enough time, time is finite, I have too much to do, too little time, then you are going to be trying to fit a lot of things into not a lot of space. You're likely not going to be giving yourself the time that you need to get things done. So, your more empowering decision might be something like, I will do what I can in the time that I have. Because that overwhelming, I have too much to do, too little time, it's just this emotional backpack, this weight that we're carrying that isn't helping us get more done. If we're in a primal state, it's going to take us longer to do the things, the focus to do the thing, if we could just do the thing from a powerful state. So if I have 15 things on my to do list today, I'm stuck in that limiting belief and feeling overwhelmed. My empowering decision I reprogram myself with is I will do what I can with the time that I have. Then I'm going to focus on one thing here, get that one thing done, and move on to the next one thing, and just keep plugging away at those one things. So, how does this help you get more done? Well, it helps you be more focused on the task at hand, and it helps you carry less of that part of your brain that is so overwhelmed that isn't allowing you to see things with a new perspective. I hope that helps. But, Share, if you need clarification, please pop it in the chat.
Did say it helps. I don't see any other questions in the chat. I do know that we are at time. Thank you everyone for logging on. It is always fun to learn alongside of everyone. Like I said, the posting will be up early next week. I know I see a few other coming in questions about that. But until next time, friends, thank you all so much.